going on, guys? It's DMD here. We have Psychotic and Stavi today, and we're going to go over a quick deck list and a match we played about, an hour ago, right? Played about an hour ago. So it was a really interesting game set. We're just going to go over the deck list real fast, cut the bullshit, show you the list, show you the games, tell us what you think. Here we go. We're going to go over it real quick. So we're running Sultai Control, the real Sultai, because Sultai Energy is not Sultai. That's just energy without any red. It's a joke.
No, I'm not gonna bash
It's no, I'm bashing it. I am a Sultai player. I play Control.
Yeah, it's true.
Okay, Control. Anyway, so we're gonna go through it real quick. We're gonna go through the win cons. We have 2 Carnage Tyrants, 2 Kefnets, 2 Tarentulas. So Carnage Tyrants in here because it is literally a giant, unstoppable death lizard. I mean, the card even says, still, the correct maneuver is usually to deploy the giant, implaceable death lizard.
And it is, like, people scoop to it.
I mean, there's removal for it, but...
Yeah, but even though there's removal for it, there's an ocean behind it that says, no, you can't do that.
Exactly. So, and we do want to go out on a limb and say we're surprised that this is not coming up in any tier lists, and we have a couple theories on why. Well, they're not theories, it's why.
It's really how they do things, is they rotate decks, they rotate the cards to sell. Like, there's everything gets its time in the sun and its hype, and this was on the hype train for pre-release, and everyone was getting it hiked up to $40, and I knew they were going to take it off. But I didn't expect it to be so off the radar.
I figured it was going to at least show up in 1 or 2 decks.
Yeah, I thought it was going to dominate the format. But,
I mean, but it's just like Torrential. When Torrential first came out, everyone was like, oh, Torrential's bad. Why would you run that? It's bad Snapcaster. And it's like, no, it's not, though.
Yeah, it has a pretty reasonable clock attached to it.
And in a week later, Torrential jumped up to $20.
I'm used to playing a 6-drop reptile that kills people. It just took 7 turns to do it.
Silumgar?
Yeah.
Silumgar? Slithy?
But now I have one that takes the game in 3, which is really nice. And it's even harder to kill because there's not a lot of answers to it in this format.
No, there's not. So, moving on, then we've got Kefnet in here because we're trying to figure out some more draw for the deck, and I know a lot of you are probably thinking, well, why don't you run Search for Azcanta? Why don't you just run more draw spells? Pull from tomorrow, da-da-da-da-da. But you know what? We needed another body, and we needed something that we could just draw and draw and draw and draw and draw. And there's a couple more interactions in the deck that make him really viable. Plus, in the control mirror, he's just good.
Yeah.
Then, obviously, turns with Gearhulk. And same thing, a lot of you are probably thinking, well, you should be at least running 3 of those. It's a control deck, right? But we have ways to bring it back. So, no, 2 actually works really fine for us. So, we'll skip down. We've got 2 Lilianas, and there is our versatility to bring things back, obviously. And then 1 Vraska, because she's got a lot of utility. And even though we side her out in some matches, just the ability to destroy something and gain a mana off of it, or alter and go, you're at 1. Yeah. It's good. It's just a good card.
Yeah, and also producing bodies is great as well.
Sorcery package real quick. We are running 3 Harsh Scrutiny because the meta right now is aggro mid-range. Yes, the control decks are starting to come out of the woodworks, but
it's still good against them.
Yeah, it's still just a good card to have. And then 2 Yihini's Expertise because this card is so undervalued right now.
Mm-hmm.
The decks that are running board wipes are running Bontus, and it's like, yeah, I understand why you're doing it, but we've got enough spot removal to where we want to be able to hit them in the early game. And the ability to play another card off of it makes it really good. And that was what I was talking about with Kefnet, is you go Yihini on turn 4, blow up their board, and then play Kefnet for free, and then you just start drawing cards.
Or follow it up with a Harsh Scrutiny, that works too.
Exactly. There's just so much value behind this card. And then the instant package is, your basic instant package. 4 Center, 4 Sensor, 4 Disallow, 4 Essence Scatter, 4 Fatal Push, 3 Glimmer, and 3 Vraska's Contempt. Which, I will go out on a limb, sue me for saying this, it's better than Downfall.
It's not.
It's better than Downfall.
It's not.
It's better than Downfall.
Downfall was 3 mana, and it interacted very quickly.
Yes, but it works the same way Downfall works because Downfall is in a very fast meta, and we're not in a fast meta
I
right
will
now.
say it is better than Utter End because
Yeah.
that was the same thing, but it cost 2 mana, and you didn't. It cost 2 different types of mana, and you didn't gain life off of it. But it also hit any permanent. Period. And then Anguish Unmaking cost 1 less mana, but it hit your life total.
Yeah, but then you have to be a pleb and run white.
Nothing's wrong with white.
Yes, there is.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No. White is a good color.
White is terrible.
You know what? I'll prove it to you. I'm gonna do a series of the blue-white deck next.
Go for it. White's still for sissies and people who have issues.
No.
Yes.
You leave the white players alone. Just
No.
Esper players.
Yeah, there's something wrong with it. If you're an Esper player watching this is a real control deck. Sideboard, 4 Death Scourge, Scavenger, so good.
Yeah, no, this is the bane of red decks and Dark Band because then they don't get to play their silly little, Scarab God. You just get to eat all their stuff. You even get to eat the Scarab God before it goes back to their hand, and it's just delicious.
Can you actually do that?
Yes.
Whoa.
It camps in the graveyard.
I did not know
before
that.
it goes back to their hand.
That's gross.
Mm-hmm.
Learn something new every day.
Yeah, and this is really nasty when you bring it back. And then especially, we have Scarab God in the sideboard ourselves. Bringing this thing back as a 4/4 makes it hit like a truck when it uses its ability. It's at least going to punch for 4 and gain you some life. Or you might just pump it the extra point to put him on a 4-turn clock. And then also, it hates on your opponent's graveyards. It's good against everything, but the reason why we sideboard it is when you play the mix-up of control, you put in more threats. You always do that. And a lot of people don't know what to do against us because they see blue-black, they see Carnage Tyrant, they're like, this is weird, I don't know how to deal with it. But really, this is your basic blue-black deck with 3 green cards in the main board.
You mean it's blue-black but good?
There's nothing wrong with the blue-black deck either.
It's lacking in power.
I mean, it won Nationals.
It's
gotta be kind of good.
Yes, but it also didn't have to, play through all the junk.
Probably.
It's Nationals. They got to go straight to tier decks most likely.
Probably. And, you do have to, if you are not...
Wait. Is this the same blue-black deck that we demolished earlier?
Not exactly. That dude was running some things that the other guy wasn't.
But it's still the blue-black control deck.
Yeah.
And we demolished it.
And the reason why we demolished that, though, is because...
Carnage Tyrant?
Carnage Tyrant, and also him not being skillful in the control mirror.
Yeah. So next up, yes, Scarab God is in the sideboard, not the main board, and this is another one. You can sue us for this decision, but the thing is, Scarab God it doesn't work with this deck the same. It's still a good card, and we side it in when we need it, but Lily just works better for us because
it's free.
It's free, it doesn't cost you mana, and you know what? With the Scarab God, I don't want to bring my Death Lizard back as a 4/4. I want it to come back as a 7/6 that says, fear me.
Yeah, you have 3 turns.
Then we have Appetite, which when we made the list, it was before the set even dropped, and we thought there was going to be some more artifacts, which actually, thinking about it, this will be good again because Vehicles is starting to pop up again, so...
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there's still a bunch of artifacts from, Kaladesh. But on top of that, hitting the enchantments from Ixalan is pretty valuable as well.
Yep. Then we have a fourth Vraska's Contempt in case it needs to come in. 3 Duress, obviously, it swaps out for the Harsh Scrutinies in the games we need it, or if we need Duress more than Harsh Scrutiny, they just replace each other on a perfect. 2 Lost Legacies, because we figured it's just a staple control card. It probably needs to be in the sideboard. We haven't had to board it in yet, but it's in there for that reason. And then another, you can use Expertise. So we'll go through and we will show you these games real quick, just so you can kind of see what happened. They were pretty solid matches. Now, this was against the tier Dark Temur Energy deck, and we just 1-for-1'd it. As you're about to see, it is just a 1-for-1 all day long. We 2-0'd him in 10 minutes flat.
Yeah, for a control deck.
Now keep in mind as the game starts, when we were playing against him, we could not see this. It shows me in the replay, so this replay function and try, so you can go back and watch your games. You can see your opponent's hand, so you can decide, oh, if I did that right or not. So when we played, we could not see this. So it opens up with a Harsh Scrutiny, perfect hand, And obviously the Hydra's gone. Just no, you don't get to have that power on the field. So this we could see during the game because we looked at his hand. So we could keep a little bit of hand knowledge for the rest of the match there.
Nice upside tune. And produces no new information to us. It just shows us there's an island. And the only unknown information we have right now is the long tusk cup in his hand, which he so kindly plays for us. That way we can promptly kill it. And now there's up to 2 cards that we are no longer aware of, being Harness Lightning, which is pretty useless against us.
So that hits, and that dies just as quick as that. So like I said, we literally just 1-for-1'd him card for card until, it happened.
Mm-hmm. There's a rogue refiner. Like we said that we 1-for-1 everything, but getting rid of a rogue refiner really feels like a 2-for-1 because it is a 2-for-1 itself.
So I mean, it's pretty simple plays. It was a pretty quick game. It was, you play this, I say no. You play that, I say no.
Mm-hmm. Which is what every control player dreams of, to be completely honest.
Oh, yeah.
So now he's got 1 mana. He's going to play the long tusk card.
Here comes the long tusk, and there goes the disallow. And then right here, he just does exactly what we need him to do. He plays nothing. And then it's it. It's over. So we go to Harsh Scrutiny, and it was to delete something from his hand, but it baited out the commit. So we didn't know this was, oh yeah, we did know this was in his hand. So we did that full knowing we were going to bait out the commit. We decided to go ahead and disallow it. And as far as we know, now he has 2 Harness Lightnings in hand. And we got rid of the Glorybringer, which just opened us up for this next play, and top deck for the W, as you're about to see. So he gets, it sucks, he draws a land, boom, untap, draw, and we flipped, because there it is, that's the game, play that 6 mana, drop the dinosaur, and that's it, it's over. And then right here, I was kind of joking with him, and I was like, well, GG, LOL. And he was just like, yep, GG, can't touch this. So that was the first game, over that quickly. So now we'll show you the second game. So we go in, and we didn't even sideboard. We were like, well, it worked so well the first time, why would we sideboard? And I honestly think the reason we beat him this round was he should have mulled this. I think he thought playing those 2 attunes, he was going to draw into some better stuff. And we drew a little on the high end at first, if you saw that opening hand. And we mulled down to this. And we've figured, all right, this should work out pretty nicely.
And we were also like lacking black, but saw that we could interact with the board pretty well.
Yeah. And I mean, he just played so slow here that it just allowed us to get set up way too easily.
Yeah, it was very nice of him.
For you Temur players out there, just letting you know, if you try to sideboard yourself into a control deck to beat a control deck, you're not going to have a good time, because 80% of the time, the deck that is made to do what you're trying to sideboard to do is going to beat you at it, because that's just how that works.
Yeah. Now, if you were to put in things like Blossoming Defense, Duress, and Spell Pierce,
then it would
be
totally different. Then it'd be a different story. Then it'd actually screw with you. But just adding in some spells and some torrentials, it's not going to help you all that much.
Yeah.
And so, like we said, he just attuned the first 2 turns, which just gave us the opening. The fact that he didn't play a creature on this turn was just like sealed his fate.
Yeah, it was very nice to take a breath. It's like we didn't even get punished for going on the draw.
So we draw into another torrential, play that island, pass turn, and then here we go. We figured he was going to play something. Stavi actually called it, said he's going to play a Rogue Refiner. and boom, there's a Rogue Refiner. It gets censored just like that. Do not let them draw cards, especially if they're an aggro deck. Aggro mid-range, whatever they're calling this thing.
Just don't let people draw cards.
So then we figured we have no plays in hand. Screw it, let's play Kefnet.
No sense in bluffing.
Sometimes the bluffing works, but we had a feeling that he was going so slow that just playing that Kefnet was going to work in our advantage.
Now we're able to hold up mana here and bluff them.
Yep.
As if we do have something to do. And
Which?
Also presenting the alternate.
Which we don't.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's got all this mana. We were sitting here sweating that he had the Hydra, and he just didn't. So we just drew cards. We draw here. We decide not to play land on the main phase and start pressuring him. If you're a control deck and you've got the board state, especially against an aggro or mid-range, start putting that pressure on. So we go ahead, we swing in, and then I go ahead and play the land because I'm going to draw and have 7 cards again on the upkeep. So here he tries to save himself, plays the Torrential, can't get anything out of the grave. He's just trying to stop the bleeding. But he's trying to race when we had a head start. So just does not work in his favor. So we're just going to keep throwing damage down. And right here we were chatting a little bit. Pass turn to him. And he's going to go ahead and play that next Torrential because he just had nothing else to do. Like I said, he should have mulled that first hand. He thought he was going to be safe with those extra lands.
They're saying that we were going to be slower.
Yeah, he thought we were going to be slower, and we just weren't.
Yeah, the turn 3 Kefnet.
So just EOT, draw some more cards, and he decides now's a good time to play my other Torrential because I tapped out. Good on him as a player because I can't counter it, but it didn't matter because we were ahead in the race. And then top decking the Drowned Catacombs, boom, sealed it. Dirt on the coffin, it's over, the headstone's been erected, GG, and you'll see why here in a second. And here comes the Pirate Queen herself. Killed Torrential. Now this is kind of a dirty interaction, and I'm proud of us for this one.
She goes ahead and makes that treasure.
Kills her, makes the treasure, and we're like, oh, we can harsh scrutiny off that treasure. But first, let's send our birdie friend down range some more. Send him down range. Keep the race going. He's far behind. Play the harsh scrutiny. He reveals all he has is lands, and then he just scoops. We had the game at that point. Even if he wouldn't have scooped, we had the lands. We had the board advantage. We had the answers. He was not going to get anywhere. And that, my friends, is Sultai. Sultai is not what he tries to do. This is Sultai. Wouldn't you agree?
I mean, they both are. I mean, he's playing Rug with black for 2 Scarab guys, but so I wouldn't really call that a Sultai deck. It's Dark Temur. But
no, I was referencing the Sultai energy.
Yeah, I believe that Sultai should be a control deck because green has the best creatures
and utility.
Blue and black has the best spells.
So blue and black have the best spells, green has the best creatures, and then green and black has the best board utility.
Yeah, I mean.
And so why wouldn't you throw those together?
Yeah.
Now, a lot of the times the reasons you don't see Sultai control decks in the top meta is because of it's hard to crack. They're hard decks to crack. They're not easy decks to figure out.
Yeah, unfortunately, like Pile of Good card is a lot harder to figure out than you think.
Yeah, it really is. And it's the numbers and the mana setup and then piloting the deck. It's you really have to know the ins and outs of this deck to be able to pilot it. There's been times before the previous standard where we lent out our paper Sultai that Mason day-two'd with when everyone was so scared of the Aetherworks Marvel meta. We had a Sultai deck that just laughed at Aetherworks. Like, Aetherworks could not beat it at all.
I actually went through the entire tournament beating every Aetherworks deck I ran into.
How many Aetherworks decks did you play? 7? 7.
Everything else
Seven.
Blue-red.
7 Aetherworks decks, and he beat all of them. The only thing that gave him a little bit of trouble was the blue-red.
And I didn't lose to blue-red.
No. Tied against blue-red. because they were people trying to play control that don't know how to play control.
And that's one of those things. Is like control isn't really like you don't have to be an advanced player to play control. You have to know interactions. And you have to know what's important in the game. It's just as difficult to play any other deck well. But when you're playing against opponents that don't exactly understand what they should be doing in their situation, they take a little bit of extra time to figure out the plays. That's kind of painful because when you go to something at Comprel, you'd figure that they'd have a rough idea what they're doing. I actually had an opponent that I had to get a judge to babysit because he was going so slow, and he actually got ejected from the tournament for going too slow.
Because he didn't know how to play his own deck.
Yeah.
Which is one of the things I think is wrong with the net decking off of professionals decks is they build those decks for themselves. Like, unless you practice with the deck day in and day out, like going to a tournament with it, it's going to be difficult. But that aside, this is the current Sultai control list. We should be moving to MTGO with it here pretty soon, just because it will look better. Hopefully, we'll be getting our closed beta pass for MTG Arena soon, and that'll look even better to watch because the interactions and just the interface is so much smoother and cleaner, and it's just more fun to watch. But that aside, we should be moving to MTGO soon. This deck on paper at the moment was around 300 when we priced it out last week. I think some of the cards may have gone up a little bit. MTGO was around 250. So hopefully we should be making the jump to MTGO soon. We're going to do a couple more testing rounds on Cockatrice. It is a free client. It's to test decks. And we test the decks on here. If we find they work, then we move them to MTGO and start playing some tournaments. So look forward to that, guys, here in the future. Anyway, this is Psycho. We're signing off. Please like, subscribe, follow, turn on the notifications, all that good stuff that every other YouTuber asks you to do. Of course, we're going to ask the same. If you don't want to, then don't do it. It'd be nice, but it'd be nice.
Man.
Yep, you do you. That being said, though, we encourage you to comment on the videos. Tell us what you would like to see us play. If you have a deck idea you would like to see run, you don't have the time to test it or tweak, post it up in the comments. Go find our Twitter, Do More Damage on Twitter. Send us a message with the deck link. Comment the deck link, whatever you want to do to get us the deck. Or if you just have some ideas, something you would like us to see built, if you had an idea for something and you just wanted to see it constructed and how it would play out, we can do that also. Go check out the Alpha Saheeli video. If you like combo decks, if you like being a dirty little Storm player, go check out the Alpha Saheeli deck video. That deck is disgusting.
Yeah, no, it's really fun.
So, thank y'all for watching. We appreciate it. This is Do More Damage. Have a good night.